GN Sports Show, powered by the Calvin Ayre Foundation.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the GN Sports Show. We're into Season 5, Episode 2 of the GN Sports Show. And you're here with me, George Sour Dublin.
I'm Terry Andrew. Thank you so much for joining us here on the GN Sports Show. All right, coming up in the Rising Stars segment, we have the Allison brothers, Zachiel and Jezziel Allison. They'll be joining us here on the Sports Show.
And in Champion Circle, we'll be featuring this evening Chris Bunting from Elite Football Academy in the United Kingdom.
Plus, Martin Milo will be a part of the Generation Next Calvin Ayre Foundation Combine, the 7th edition, coming up in February.
And to close the show off, none other than the exciting Dr. Rick with fantastic information on vaccination for kids in athletics and in sports.
Certainly. Learning experience. I hope you can learn from our doctor in the house, Dr. Rick.
So with that, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back with the GN Sports Show.
Our vision is to become the premier platform for showcasing and empowering young student athletes, providing them with the tools and exposure to excel both in sports and life, while shaping the next generation of confident, media-savvy leaders. The GN Sports Show is dedicated to highlighting the talent and stories of young student athletes across all sports disciplines. We aim to equip them with vital media exposure and public speaking skills, helping them grow into confident individuals both on and off the field. Through engaging interviews, mentorship, and real-world media experiences, we strive to foster personal and professional development that supports their athletic journeys.
Well, this is the GN Sports Show, and we have rising stars in the house with us, the Allisons, Jezziel and Zachiel Allison. They're Generation X FC's all the 9 players, and we're just gonna have a chit chat with them. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on the GN Sports Show.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
All right, let's start with you. Why football? Why not basketball or cricket?
Because I like football the most, and I like to learn.
You like to learn. That's a good answer. We like people that like to learn.
If you like to learn, you're in the right sport. And in the right academy too, no, because Generation Next is a teaching academy. So you definitely will learn.
You like that. What about you? Do you like to learn too as well? Why football?
Because I want to play football with my brother to see how it goes.
See, you're a role model already. Big up. Yeah, give me a high five. Oh, what kind of high five is that? Like, give me a good one. See, your brother is following your footsteps. So that means you're doing something right. That is good. That is good. So, you guys can play any other sport? Any other sport? No?
Basketball.
Basketball? Good.
Let's try maybe tennis.
Tennis.
Maybe tennis.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Well-rounded athletes, but don't stick with one. You can try a few things. You're still young. Try a few things. Yeah. So, what about football are you guys like? You?
The dribble.
They always say number 2. The second child is the one that we're gonna have to worry about.
Yeah, Terry.
But no.
Don't do that, Terry. I'm a second child, Terry.
Oh, you're a second child. No, but he's kind of quiet.
Terry,
the second child, you gotta worry about the second child.
You just run the whole bus over the second child.
Sorry. But yeah, what you guys like about football?
I like learning things and playing with my friends.
Playing with your friends. Nice. What about you, Jezziel? What do you like about
I like learning new moves.
Moves?
Yeah.
Nice.
And play football game modes.
Nice. So you can do the step over and so? You tell me you're forward.
They must be able to do the step over, Terry.
You can do the step.
They must be able to do the step over.
Okay.
They must be able to do the step over. So as Terry asked, what you all like about football? Do you all like to score goals?
Yes.
Do you all like to tackle?
You're a defender. You must like to tackle.
You like to tackle? You like to tackle? Jezziel? You don't like to tackle people?
But kind of because of the grass.
Oh, because of the grass.
No worry, man. When you get older, you'll get used to the grass when you get older. Yeah. You love the grass.
So when y'all at training, first, what school y'all go to?
Kids on Legend.
And what grade you're in Jaziel?
Zaki?
Grade 2.
And you?
Grade 4.
Grade 4. And what's your teacher's name?
Teacher Carol.
Teacher Carol and you?
Teacher Sharon.
So y'all do PE at school?
Yeah.
And who is the PE teacher?
Coachy.
Coachy?
Yeah, they call
They call it
coaches.
coachy. So,
Yeah, my daughter come and say the same
so
thing.
what games y'all let's play when y'all go with coachy for PE? That's where football, basketball, tag. What y'all let's play?
Tag, but in a different way. But someone is like the wolf, and they have a bush, and like if they catch them, they can rub the bush on them.
Oh, okay. So y'all like that game?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what day your class let's do PE?
Friday.
And your class?
Friday too.
Oh, both y'all do PE. So everybody does PE on Friday or just your class do PE on Friday?
Everyone.
Everyone does PE on a Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, so out of all the days y'all let's go Generation Next. Which day y'all like going the most? Thursdays, Tuesdays or Saturdays?
Saturdays.
Why Saturdays?
Because I get to play against
Because Saturdays
people.
is longer, right?
Because at Saturday and Sunday, we kind of get to skip school.
Yeah, because you get to skip school.
Whoa. Are you skipping school for football?
Are you watching that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so hold on there. And this is a question that always comes up. You go to football first, then do your homework, or you do your homework, then you go to football?
I go to football, then do my homework.
Then you do your homework. Yeah, we know which one's going to be the we know which one is going to be the footballer. What about you?
Do my homework and then do football.
I tell you about those first trial there. Straight on the narrow. They're straight and on the narrow. Do your football first. But I used to go football first, then do my homework. I didn't turn out too bad.
I used to go football. I don't know about the homework part though. I just skip the homework part. And I tell y'all to do that. They make sure y'all do your homework and go to football.
The good thing is, you guys are doing both. You guys are doing both.
So if y'all, who's your favorite player? Who's your favorite player?
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. And who's yours?
Same as Sakiel.
Say Ronaldo. So okay, so I'm gonna ask y'all a question. If y'all so like Ronaldo, right? What is the brand of Ronaldo's football boots? Is it Nike or is it Adidas?
Nike.
Oh boy.
So you know it's Nike or you say Nike because your brother says Nike? You don't know? Oh yeah, all right. It is Nike. It is Nike.
I have another Ronaldo question. What does Ronaldo say when he does his celebration?
Sue.
Everyone know that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shh.
What you said?
Sorry. Sue.
I didn't know that, you know.
I'm joking.
I did not know that. I know the celebration of what it is, but I didn't know he said something.
Okay. So you guys did Ronaldo celebration? Yeah. When you go, that's good.
Okay, so now this is another Ronaldo question, right? What number Ronaldo used to wear when he played for Real Madrid? What number he wears now?
7.
Has he always wore 7?
No.
So what country is Ronaldo from?
We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what country is he from?
Portugal.
He's from Portugal. So the World Cup is this year. Yeah, I know about the football World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So the World Cup is this year in June, and he's going to be playing USA, Canada, and Mexico. And Portugal is in the World Cup. So y'all got to back Portugal if Ronaldo is your favorite player. Okay? So y'all supporting Portugal, right? So daddy gonna have to get y'all Ronaldo Portuguese jersey. The shirt is maroon and green, and the pants is green. Okay?
So the whole thing.
And
The whole kit.
and it's summer, so that means y'all don't have no school, so y'all just gonna sit down home by the telly. Okay? And if y'all come back to my camp this year, because y'all was at my camp last year, right?
Yeah.
Right, so if y'all come back to my camp this year, we're gonna have a TV at the camp where we watch the games, the World Cup games and them. So it's a strong possibility that we can sit after training and watch the World Cup.
Okay.
Alright?
I have another question, but I'm gonna ask Jaziel. Jaziel, does your dad play any sport? What sport he plays?
Football.
He plays football too? He teach you guys anything?
Yeah.
Yeah? Passing?
Yeah.
Normal stuff? Did he teach you any tricks? Teach you any tricks? What tricks?
Rainbow flick.
What? What?
What you say?
The rainbow flick?
The rainbow flick?
What? Serious? Atta boy. So what does mommy think when you guys playing with the football? Mommy say, come on in the house, boys. No?
We cannot play football in the house.
Oh, you can't play football in the house?
We cannot.
Okay. That's one of mom's rule. That's good.
But if mom is not there, does daddy let you play football in the house?
That's good. So dad and mom comes to football on Saturdays and watch you guys say, go Jaziel, go Zakiel. They do that all the time?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. That's okay. Maybe you have to work sometimes.
Only my dad comes.
Okay. That's okay. Sometimes mom has to work, maybe mom has to do stuff, but as long as they're there, come on boys. Makes you guys feel like, yeah, I gotta do better for dad, right?
So in the under 9s at Generation Next, who is your coach?
Skinny.
Skinny?
Yeah, Skinny.
Coach Skinny?
Yeah.
That's what you guys call him, Coach Skinny?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. And Coach Skinny just give you a lot of dribbling drills and passing drills and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And y'all just run laps, innit?
Yeah.
Y'all don't enjoy the laps?
Some
Y'all just enjoy the laps?
sometimes.
Sometimes. Why you just enjoy the laps? Because you get to run and talk and laugh with your friends, innit? And sometimes.
Jaziel, I know you don't like the laps. Do you like the laps, Ariel?
But laps must be good because if you can run laps, it helps you to get fit. And when game playing now, you can run. But if you don't do the laps, when game's playing, you're going to be tired. So the laps help you to get fit. So when games come, you will be able to run for the whole game. So, right? So I got to like the laps.
So when football finish, do you go play basketball?
No.
No? When you play basketball?
I'm not in a basketball team.
You what?
I'm not in a basketball
Oh,
team.
you're not. But you like to play basketball. So when football take a break, you can go try basketball. You can tell Dad. Maybe Dad can find a young team for you to go play. I like when you guys are active. You like video games? You guys play video games at home?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Okay. Just one little bit.
He plays for a long time, but
He plays for a long time? Are you telling on him right now that he plays for a long time? What game you guys like? FIFA? What?
I like FIFA.
You like FIFA? What other games you guys play? Jaziel, what kind of game you play? On the PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox. We only have an Xbox.
Okay, that's okay. That's all. But what kind of games you guys like? The car racing or football, basketball? What?
Sometimes I play different games.
Oh, different games. Okay.
So
Roblox?
when you all play, y'all play against each other?
Yeah.
I forgot Roblox. Remember the last two from last week?
Yeah, they had
Yeah, they
Roblox,
like
yeah.
Roblox as well. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Xbox too.
Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me. I didn't know that. I seriously didn't know that. I thought it's sports games you guys play because that's the type of game that I like. I still play PlayStation too, so I'm a big kid.
You know, I don't really partake in.
Serious?
Seriously, ever. I don't have the knack for that.
Okay.
Hand games.
That's it. Don't worry. You guys. Sometimes you play some games, then you go outside, do some rainbow flicks with Dad. Then when football finish, do some homework. All right. You guys wanna say hi to Mommy and Daddy? Or say anything to Mommy and Daddy? Go ahead.
Look in the camera and say hi to Mommy and Daddy.
Hi, Mommy and Daddy.
All right. These are the Allisons, the rising stars here at Generation Next. On the 9s. Look out for them in the future. Of course, we'll have more. Lots more to come on GN Sports Show.
Good evening and welcome back to another episode of the GN Sports Show with me, George Saw Dublin. And in our champion circle this evening, we'll be interviewing Chris Bunting from Elite Football Academy. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Good, thanks, good. Just so you know, I'm from the IFG Football Academy, and I'm also CEO of the International Basketball Academy too.
Oh, you're in basketball also?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you're all-rounded then, we should say, all-rounded.
That's it. I work in football because it pays the bills, but my passion was basketball, and that's where I did a lot of my coaching.
So how tall are you, Chris?
Let's not get carried away with that one. Yeah. I was athletic and could jump when I was younger, but yeah, I'm 5'10". My American height was 6'2".
When you start to hear that people are into basketball, you start to figure they're 6 foot and up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's maybe why my career didn't last very long and I went into coaching, right?
I'm going to take your word. Anyway, thanks for being on the show with us, Chris. It's a pleasure having you. So just a quick, as you say, you worked in basketball and in football. So you worked across elite coaching, performance, and education for over 20 years. Looking back, just some key moments and the transition from playing basketball, playing football to now into coaching.
Yeah, sure. I think I was trying to think about that, and I was trying to sort of think of a few times that really impressed on me. And I think I left home at 16 to pursue basketball. So to live in a different part of England in an academy. And I think when I did that, it was incredibly tough. I played in our academy, was a GB future captain and Hall of Famer who has the most wins for Great Britain national team, Kieran Ayre. We had a lot of players from London, Birmingham move up, and we were incredibly talented, sort of 16, 17-year-old team playing in the second top division in the men's league. So I had to work hard. I was out of my comfort zone. I grew up from a small suburb in the country up in the northeast of England, so it was definitely an eye-opener, and I had to work incredibly hard. I wasn't always the most talented, but I think I had to work hard to get onto that team. So those sort of traits stuck with me through my time. I was fortunate to have three great coaches, one who is a Hall of Famer at UConn, who holds the rebounding record still, played at Utah Jazz, and then I had a Zimbabwe international coach, Creon, who taught me what it was like to be a player's coach. He was really good with all of us. And then I had my first coach, Paul Douglas, who I'm sure we've all had these coaches, and he was brilliant, but he would throw chairs. I would run through a brick wall for him because I was scared, but also he knew how to push the button. So I learned a lot from that. So when I went into my coaching and leadership, I felt that all of those traits always come out. I want to be the hardest worker. And then if I fast forward a little bit, I was fortunate to be a strength and conditioning coach with the England under-15s. And it was a great experience. It was my first time being involved in a national sort of team, even though it was junior. And the head coach was a guy called Jesse Cezanne. He was a Canadian coach. And the way he planned everything was meticulous, to the staff meetings, what made sure everyone knew what they had to do, and get a lot of detail in with young men for, 3 days. And I think, that sort of organisation, I still think I could always be better at organisation, but I really learned that from him. And then I was thinking it's not just about the good experiences that have shaped me. There was a couple of testing ones. I was a GB coach, assistant to someone who was really bad at man management. At this point, I also worked for a professional club. I was doing some of the coaching on their elite side, and I don't like to name names or clubs, but their management style of not only myself but the other staff members was so poor. And I remember thinking, when I get to a head coach position or leadership roles, I'm never going to treat my staff that way. So again, those experiences really shaped me, and I thought, you've got to be able to care for your players, your staff. So those were a couple, and then there was just some few, going to the Commonwealth Games was fantastic in 2018. Working with a great coach who I worked with for 4 years, and just learning stuff from him. I always thought as a young coach at that point that I probably knew it all, and I got humbled very quickly when I was making suggestions, and he was a very old school coach. He coached in the '92 Olympics in Barcelona, and very knowledgeable. And I remember there were certain things and he was basically I thought we could defend a screen a certain way, and he said, look, we just need to insist on what we do. I want you to go back through film, show us where we were poor. And this was we were playing Canada to go into the gold medal game, and I suggested we should do some different coverages, and he said, look, we haven't covered it. Even though these are elite women, we haven't covered it. Let's just stick to what we do. And then we won that game, and I remember he came down the bench and said, see, sometimes you just got to insist and stick to what what you've been doing. So that was really eye-opening for me. And then lastly, again, when I'm looking at where I've developed one of my best friends, he's the godfather to my son, is the GB men's national team head coach for Great Britain, and also coaches Newcastle in the top league in the SLB here. And his attention to detail is second to none. And because he's in the same city as me, when I was coaching, he would always give me really honest feedback. So to have someone that can be that honest without taking it personally, I think we always were really self-reflective and self-critical. Okay, well, it went well or it didn't go so well, but what could I have done differently, rather than I'm sure we've all been in those environments where people will blame other people. It's okay, well, what could I have done differently? So those are some key moments throughout my career that have really helped shape my sort of leadership skills and quality, I would say.
Oh, most definitely. Well, You covered my second question in terms of the Commonwealth Games. I see that you all got the silver medal in that game, you know. And as you said, to get to that game is the game where you spoke to the coach and he said to stick to the principle. So going into the what you would say the semi-finals, because it seems like you all lost in the semi-final. Well, you all got to the finals.
We got to the final, yeah, but we'd lost to that team in the semi-finals in the group stage.
So which team did you all lose to in the final?
So we lost to Australia, and they were impressive. So we played Australia in the final, but we probably celebrated the win against Canada. Canada beat us by 26 or so in the group stage, and then when we drew them in the semi-final, that was our gold medal game, because as much as we'd love to have beaten Australia, they had like Liz Cambridge and a load of WNBA players, and that would have took some talent. So it was a great experience there.
So the GB team and England team, that's the same one team, or that's two different teams?
So it's two different teams. So there's basketball in the UK, unfortunately, is in a bit of a mess right now. There's some good people trying to get involved, but it all shifted to GB I think it was about 12 years ago. So all our junior teams are GB. However, in the Commonwealth, it's still England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. So it was just the Commonwealth. So, but the majority of our play, I don't think we didn't have a single Welsh or Scottish or Irish international on our team. So it was essentially the GB team.
So it's not England has a team, Wales have a team, Scotland has a team. It's all combined to make one team.
Absolutely, but in the Commonwealth it is different. So Scotland didn't qualify for the Commonwealth Games, nor did Wales or Ireland. But we couldn't have taken those players for the Commonwealth. But for all other FIBA competitions, like there's the Oceanas, all that sort of stuff, we play as GB.
Okay, so you had senior roles in talent identification and high performance sports in the university and beyond. Just give us a bit on how those help you to be a better coach and better person now, carrying on in this profession that you're in.
Sure. So I suppose, is that like looking at my sort of leadership style, and is that like those sorts of things that I've learned from my time in education stuff. So I think, being a part of all those different pathways, I think, being a good leader is like, I like to build relationships with people. I think care and trust is super important. So for me, whether it was my staff members, whether it was my players, I think it's important to want to know the person, because if you care for someone, and I look back to my early part of my career, I probably was a terrible coach. Like, you only learn from who you know, right, and what you do as you go through. But I think I definitely cared for the people I was coaching. So they probably would have huddled together and gone, man, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's a good guy, so let's just try and win for him. So I think that helped me early on, but I think as you go through, like, those sort of qualities in leadership are important. And then I would say accountability, like holding your players, your staff accountable, but also, yourself as a leader, you have to be accountable to making sure that if you make a mistake, you own up to it, and that you hit the same targets. You can't ask your team to do something that you're not prepared to do. And then for me, like, another key part is enthusiasm. Like, I love what I do, like whether it's basketball, whether it's football. I love education. I think the two are a perfect match. And I think you've got to be enthusiastic, because you don't want to come to work today if Ricky's like boring and monotone or doesn't support you. You're gonna have a long day, right? So we want to give that enthusiasm, because sometimes it's tough working days, but if you can put that across to your players, whether they're young or old, like they're obviously going to do a little bit more for you. And then I think the last part in there is just all about honesty. Like, you can't be a liar. You've got to be honest to your players. You've got to tell them how everything is, your staff members. And I think, those traits are something that hold dear to me in terms of that leadership.
All right. But definitely I would support you 100% in the honesty and the enthusiasm part of it, because your enthusiasm, especially if it is positive enthusiasm, it channels onto your players, and it helps to make your session a better session, because you doesn't want to be in a session where the players and your staff are afraid of you or not comfortable with you. So once you could get them to lighten up and to be free and to be themselves within an honest environment, you get a lot more out of players and staff, knowing that if they say something which might be contrary to what you want, you're not going to hold it against them. you tend to get better results and have better communications and those kind of things. You know, in my personal experience, I really believe in that too. To be honest with whoever is working with me and allow them to be themselves. You know,
absolutely.
You know, and I think it works. I think when it doesn't work when someone thinks that they should be the only one with an opinion. As because you have the title of head. When you have the title of head, yes, you are the person that the axe will fall on if it doesn't go right, but you still need the persons that has assistance or helper or volunteer to make your job a bit easier and for you to be able to see the things that are going right and the things that are going wrong.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like you see so many dictatorships these days that will never end well. Like your best coaches are the people who are really comfortable in themselves, right? I would want to bring assistants on who have an area of expertise that I'm not great on. You know, I was very much a defensive-minded coach. So if someone's coming in with great offensive ideas, hey, you run with it. Like this is what we're looking for. This is how we do it. But you know, I think the better you are as a leader, like the less you're worried about being knocked off or whatever. I think, you know, you've got to be comfortable, like you said, comfortable in yourself and create that environment, and then it's only ever going to thrive.
Yeah, because most of the good coaches that we have heard about, the Phil Jacksons, the Alex Fergusons, is there's always that assistance. The assistants they would say these are the things I want, and trust them to go and carry out these things, and just sit back and watch it and tweak where necessary. You know,
absolutely.
And I think a lot of coaches, yes, we want to be that person. So yes, or that is a George Dublin's team or a Chris Bunting team, but the people in the background also needs to know that what they do is appreciated as much as, you know, your name is going to be called most because you're the one that is in front. So as head coach of the New England Eagles women and head coach of Northumbria University and beyond, you know, multiple national championships and finals, what leadership principles help you sustain success over a long period?
Sure, well, you know, I think we've touched on those on the one just before the question before, but I think again, one thing that
speak about, you know, things that you use to get short-term success also.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I think short-term success, which led into my long-term, is I was a very good recruiter. So again, you know, in the women's pro league, which is what I was doing, and for Northumbria University, there wasn't full rides like some people can get, you know, to North America. We paid for some housing, there was a stipend, but there wasn't much. So again, it's not really a leadership quality, I would say, but my ability to recruit was huge. And I think it comes back to that honesty. I would say to these players, look, I see this as a stepping stone, even though it's a pro league. Okay, and when I started in 2014, that was when the pro league had its first inception, a bit more backing along with the men's league. And I would say, look, you know, I want you to come and get your masters, okay, part-time. I want you to, you know, play and get some good stats. But if you do these things and you commit to the program, you can potentially go into Europe. So I think recruitment was a key thing. And then linking back to that honesty, I think was huge, because that built us. So in 20, you know, I was the first, like this was my first ever time coaching in the professional game in England and women. And we did a really good job. We finished third. We made a good job in the playoffs. So it was building that trust in the players and then continuing that through. So again, coming down to experience, enthusiasm. Did I make mistakes? Absolutely. I made a ton of mistakes, right? And I look back at some of the stuff I said, it's crazy. But that was the team that I had some great players, and they you know, they were like, look, you know, you mean well. And it's interesting when I go back, I've been to some of their weddings now, or, you know, they're grown up and they're like, man, sometimes you didn't know what you were talking about, but, you know, we would just go and do our own thing. But then speaking to them as I go through, like, you know, when you look back, that was like, what, 15 years ago, I think, oh man, I was pretty tough back then. So I think that led it through. When players are talking to other players, they would say, you know, hey, Newcastle's a great city. You know, the coach is maybe improving, but he generally cares. And I think those three things will always help build the program or build the dynasty or whatever. And we were fortunate to win it the next year, went all the way, both university and the pro. And then we managed to maintain that success. Even when other clubs were chucking in maybe more money, I think it becomes down to, okay, well, I definitely put time into my craft. So I would go and watch other coaches. I was fortunate to work for GB, so have some great influences. So the technical and the tactical side built up very quickly, but I maintained who I was and what was important to me, which is the people. And I think that helped in terms of that long-term success.
All right, no problem. So now you're operating on the international as an international in multi sports, right? Director of International Football Group and COO of the International Basketball Academy. How do you see global athletics developing, evolving, and what excites you most about building pathways across universities in Newcastle?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, and obviously, as you can see, there's a few more universities as well. But I think I love, like, I think we touched on it. I don't know if it was off air or just at the beginning, but like, I love what education can do to open doorways, because you play for your national team. I was fortunate to play for my England under 16s. I was fortunate to go to America for 2 years on a scholarship. When they realised I wasn't any good, they sent me back to the UK, and I played for a great coach, and Nick Nurse, who coaches the Philadelphia 76ers when he was at Brighton, but I was very end of the bench, sometimes not even on the bench. So like, those experiences are great, but ultimately, even though I still had dreams of playing in the NBA, obviously that never happened, and I couldn't retire, I couldn't be on MTV Cribs, I couldn't buy my mum that house. So like, education was a big thing that always my parents would push alongside it. So I'm really excited. I always get excited about how you can marry the love that someone has for sports. So even though basketball was my hobby, I've worked in football for 12 plus years now at Newcastle, with some stuff with Newcastle United, obviously Northumbria University, working on that talent program. And I think if you can marry the two, it's important. So that's what it really excites me with the basketball. Like, there's a lot of football academies out here now, international football academies linked with various different schools. All of them have their pros and cons. I love the fact that I'm with Macclesfield, especially with the recent success they've had, which was obviously global in terms of beating Crystal Palace, the holders, from we're in the National League North. And one of the things that's most that people don't always see about that win, apart, there's loads of stories, and like there's a teacher who has his full-time job, then has to go back after the win, go back to school the next day. But one of the best things was one of the kids from the International Academy that I oversee, director of, Carlos. He came on in the 71st minute. So like last season, he was playing in our International Academy up at Preston, studying as well. And then he got signed as a pro because he's done well. So he's actually still continuing his last year of university, plays on the pro team, and came on against Crystal Palace in what could be a historic win for years and years to come. So to see someone that we've brought through the program, and as you know, it's hard. Like, there's some very talented players who just aren't quite there yet. But to see that is a big thing, and that's what I want to do with basketball. Partnering with Newcastle University. It's a top 140 world institution, like Russell Group Ivy League school. So I want to offer that to players who want to continue with their basketball, because there's so many places where you either you might not be good enough to go to the US, and then what do you do? If you go anywhere, typically in Europe or around the world, you might train once or twice if the university has a team, and it might be hard to find other teams. So we put this full package together where they can be on the court every day, the same as our football, on the court, on the pitch every day, strength and conditioning, physio support. So it's treated like a category 1 or 2 academy. Okay, and we play in different leagues, whether it's NFL for football, whether we're playing BCB, which is the second top level in England for basketball. And we want to give these players these opportunities, with the outcome being you leave with a degree. So that's great, because it's whatever you want to do in your dual career pathway afterwards. But they also, get to express, their love for the sport and take it as far as they can. So as long as they leave with a degree and have options, that's what we want to see. We want to see our players signing semi-professional, professional contracts in and around Europe. And if you can do the sport you love, as long as they're paying for your house, your car, a little bit of money for food, and you can do that till you're 35, 40, you should, right? Until you settle into whatever your next career is.
Yeah, I most definitely agree with you there. I think if you could play a sport and benefit from it, because we all want to enjoy sports, and if you could play sports and get paid to do it, I think you should take the opportunity. It might not, as you say, you didn't get to buy your mom the big house in the suburbs and stuff like that, but you had a good career, you enjoyed the time playing the sport, and then now you're enjoying your time passing it back on to other people and making opportunities for other people to come to maybe go further than you, or at least to get something out of it to, continue in the future. But it was great talking to you, Chris. We really do appreciate you coming onto the show and imparting all that level of knowledge. I hope that you could keep that enthusiasm, the excitement to help others and to also better yourself. And I'm sure you're trying to pass it on to people around you. You know what I'm saying? I think as a coach or as a person that has to be involved in team settings, you must appreciate the people that you are working with for it to be successful, because no one likes a bad boss.
Absolutely.
No one likes a bad boss. So thank you very much for coming on to the show, Chris. And looking forward to seeing you next week in the nice, bright sunshine of Antigua and Barbuda. You know, so
Absolutely.
until then, Chris, you take care.
Thank you, you too. Look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. And with that, we'll take a quick break after the Champion Circle with Chris Bunting. And we'll be right back.
We would like to thank the sponsors of Generation Next: Fruta, Antigua Masonry Products, Citizenship by Investment Unit, ACT, Flow, Island Photo, and Francis Trading Agency.
All right, thank you for staying here with us on the GN Sports Show. Our next guest is Martin Milo. He is one of the many scouts and coaches that will be here for the CAF ID Combine, which comes up early this month, the 6th to the 8th of February, right here on Ireland. Mr. Milo, thank you so much for joining us here on the GN Sports Show.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to the people on the wonderful island that is Antigua.
Certainly. Let's start here. Your career in football, your involvement in football, your work in football. Let's start with that.
Yeah, so my career has been very challenging and very up and down, like many footballer stories. So I started out at a young age playing for various professional academies, Liverpool, Blackpool, and I got my first professional move at Morecambe, which is famous for Tyson Fury. Was the most famous supporter of Morecambe. And I played there till I was about 22 years old. Unfortunately, I got a bad ACL injury to my left knee twice, and I dropped out of professional football. But like parents always tell their sons and daughters, that if it doesn't work out in the football, you have to have a backup, and mine was education. So I went to University of Lancashire, who I'm currently working with as well, with football programmes there. And I got a degree. It was something that didn't come naturally. I had to work at it. And I got a degree in sports coaching and exercise science. Using that degree, I got various jobs within football, coaching, match analysis, leading me into the job that I've been doing for the last 15 years, which is recruiting for the best football programs with or without education, for females and for males. I have a lot of success stories. Some of those success stories have gone on to the Premier League. I have Dante Gilbert, who's at PSV in Holland, and I've had a lot of players who've gone on to the sport and educational routes, pathway, and they've got jobs within football working with professional clubs. So a full mixture of success stories. I'm a dad. I've played professional football, and I've got a degree. So I'd like to feel like I'm qualified to give my advice to the people of Antigua.
And the group that you work with, Globus Football Agency, just talk about what they do and how do you reach these gems that you're looking from around the world?
Yeah, so we'll start off with Globus to start off with. Globus is a Swedish-based football agency, and I've obviously been speaking to Ricky Santos. He'll be hosting the event in Antigua. It's going to be the first time a football agent has come to the island to look at players. So if you're representing a national team for Antigua, you need to sign up to this event, because I'm the person that you'll want to speak to when you're there, because I can improve and give you chances to get football exposure in other countries. So the way it works is there's two ways. There's a showcase event that we do in Sweden, which we do 3 times a year. We've got one in February, one in July, and one in November. And we have a squad of 20 players who take on 5 professional sides in their stadiums to win a contract. And we had a number of players who were signed professionally from the Caribbean islands who attended those events. Then secondly, I work for a huge company called IFG, which is a football group which has football and education, football only programs. We also have a club in Dubai where you can get the guarantee of professional football whilst doing a degree. So it's a one-way stop. We have a consultation service which sits down with mother and father to talk about and give them a non-biased opinion of where we would send your son or daughter.
All right, so coming back here to Antigua for this combine, you would have seen in the past the talent that is on the island, and maybe your expectations coming down again?
Exactly, yeah. So, I've already been once before, which shows how well it went. I'm coming back a second time. A lot more educated on Antigua, because it wasn't an island I'd been to before. So now I know the quality, the support from the parents and the family is infectious within the island. And they just need an honest, unbiased person to give them advice on where to send their son or daughter. And, over 15 years experience of doing that, and also being a father and having a degree, I feel like if they come and spend some time with me and have an honest chat, we can seriously give some good advice to the people of Antigua.
Oh no, what are you looking for? When you come to a combine like this, there'll be hundreds of kids, maybe over 100 to be exact. What are you looking for in young players?
So obviously we're looking for ability to be a footballer, let's be honest. You have to be in the 0.01% of the world who's trying to be a professional footballer. You're going to have that ability. But there's no point having good ability if you haven't got the right attitude. So, attitude sometimes beats ability. In my case, I wasn't educated that well, but with a good attitude, I got a degree. So that's a prime example of what we're looking for. So I'm looking for the international players who are obviously on the island to turn up to the showcase to be assessed by the Swedish agency. And then I'm looking to assess the players who aren't playing international football, ones who want the opportunity to maybe go into Europe and give it a go with their football opportunity on a football-only programme. Or they're looking to really seriously get into the world of working in football, where they'll need football and education. So I'm looking for the ability, but more about their attitude and how they present themselves.
Yeah, because and I'm sure you've heard before from different coaches that you've been around or you came upon that talent is only that much of a percentage of what you need to go to the next level.
Exactly, and every coach that I've worked with, I've always gone on about hard work, doing extra in the training ground. Are you training 5 days a week minimum? And unfortunately, at the end of the day, I'm a failed footballer. Even if it was injuries taking it away from me, and I want to be able to give advice to players, on the right things to do. Because 40 years old now, 20 years ago, it was a different culture. You think of players like Gaza, and those sort of players were still around, where the lifestyle wasn't taken as seriously, nutrition wasn't. Nowadays you've got so much to take in account. What's your nutrition like? What's your physical appearance like? What's your determination like? What's your ability? There's way more factors to make it as a professional footballer than there was 20 years ago. So this is why I'm coming to educate the players, and more importantly, mum and dad.
Yeah, and the parents are so important. But let's talk about the participants that will be taking part in this combine coming up in February. When players go to combines like these, they would want to maybe impress too much, or maybe put a lot of pressure on themselves to want to be seen. Maybe doing things out of the ordinary that they don't normally do in a match, or don't normally do. And sometimes that may work against them. Talk to these participants that are coming to take part in this combine on just the way that they carry out themselves during the days of playing, or just talking to you guys.
Yeah, so my advice would be is to don't do anything out of the ordinary you don't normally do, because normally if you go out your comfort zone, you're not an expert in it. So stick to your strengths. So if you're a short passer, long passer, keep to your long ball ability. If you're a dribbler, you're taking on that opponent every single time you get the ball. But it's most important to play as a team, because football isn't an individual sport. You do get some individuals in it, like your Messis and Ronaldos, but mainly people work as a team, So my advice would be to do what you normally do, but most importantly, being loud, asking for the ball. Don't be mute. Don't be like a little mouse and they can't hear you, because I've been a scout for years. I've been a professional footballer. You would get eaten alive in a hostile environment with fans and so on if you're not somebody who can talk in front of 21 other players on the football pitch. So it's if you need to be loud, determined. You need to be memorable. You need to come and ask about how did I do? What would you want to see more from me? There's nothing better than somebody coming up to you saying, how did you think I did then? What would you like to see from my next performance? And if I'm looking down on their sheet and it says winger, and I've been watching them and they've not took on one fullback, it's an easy feedback. Well, you're a winger. It says that you're a winger and you've not taken on the right back or the left back once. So that's what I want to see. So do what you say you can do on paper. You know, if you're a rock hard centre back, I want to see you bullying the forwards. If you're a fullback, overlapping fullback, that's what we want to see. We want to see your strengths. You know, and you play your best football when you're comfortable with your surroundings, to get to know everybody else, get to know their name. There's no excuse for not arriving early, which for the Antiguan people can be a bit of a problem sometimes in the football. You know, it is if they arrive early, get to know the players' names who are on their side, and grow into the game. You know, so I'm looking forward to seeing all of that.
I want to do. All right, you talked earlier about the correlation between sport and your studies, the student athlete, and the importance of that. Just in case you need a fallback after football didn't work out, injuries happen. The importance of marrying education with sport.
Yeah, so obviously some people call it a plan A or a plan B. I don't. I call it a plan A part 1 if you want to go for being a football player, or a plan A part 2 if it's the football's not an opportunity for you to be a professional. Then this is also equally as good as important as being a professional footballer. I proved myself that I needed. For me, it was a fallback option because I only ever wanted to be a professional footballer. But these people who are coming to the showcase event, most of them will be going down the education and football route. So, and then if they get their professional football, then it's a massive bonus for them. We have to be 100% honest about that. So, but you can have the best 3 years of your life, 4 years if you're doing a foundation degree, where you're playing full-time football, still playing against professional sides. At IFG, we have 2 programs that they could join. One in the UK, where they get full-time football, and they're still going to be playing against semi-professional sides, professional sides, doing a degree for 3 years. But also they got one in Dubai, which gives them the guarantee of professional football, which is called Phoenix City FC. They get a guarantee of Division 3 professional football whilst doing a degree for 3 years. So they have the options there. They really do. And the good thing about it is being part of the IFG group, you're always considered, am I good enough to go and sign for Macclesfield FC? And we've got a plan to try and get into the Premier League in the next sort of 5 to 6 years. We've got big plans, you know, that we want to push Macclesfield right to the top. You might have seen in the FA Cup recently, we beat Premier League Crystal Palace, which was an amazing result for us, and we convincingly beat them as well. It wasn't a fluke. And we've got Brentford, who are a Premier League side, next. We've got a guy called Carlos, who plays for Carlos Santos, who plays for us, who came to the university programme first year, signed for Macclesfield first team, and came on as a sub versus Crystal Palace. So this could be someone from Antigua, you know, where I've seen people with similar ability to Carlos go and be signed by Macclesfield, and now his football career, and he's also doing an education. So that's a perfect motivational sort of story for everybody watching this in Antigua.
Yeah, you talk about Caribbean players that you saw went on to be pros. What about the Caribbean players? Because sometimes maybe they think that they don't always have the opportunity, other than these situations like the combine that we're having here in Antigua. They don't get to be seen by European scouts and those coaches from that part of the world. The opportunity for Caribbean players that Caribbean players may not have that others will.
Yeah, exactly. Well, whoever dares to be signed wins, you know. So whoever dares to be great will be great. So you have to put yourself in the shop window. And unfortunately, it's an amazing island. But if you stay on the island, chances, you know, as we know, these events don't happen too often, you know. So this is why you have to get the honesty from people like myself who've got kids, you know, and been there, done it, you know, give good advice. You have to have good people. And this is why Ricky Santos throws these events. He's a really good guy. He's brought good people together. And when good people get together, good things happen for other people. So we have Macclesfield, we have a number of Caribbean players who play for us. We've got a Barbados international goalkeeper who's with us at Macclesfield. We have various other Caribbean players. We've got 2 from Cayman Islands who came in recently. So we've had a history of Caribbean players coming into Macclesfield, and it's about being honest and setting them a realistic level for them. So going from an island to a big sort of country, footballing nation, doesn't mean you're going to start in the Premier League. You know, you have to start in a realistic level. And for us, Macclesfield is a realistic level for those Caribbean players, because we've had internationals at that level come and play for us. And then once you're in the system, the stage is there to perform. You know, it's all on you. We can put you on the stage, we can bring the crowd, put you on the stage. But, if, you know, just like a singer, if they don't perform on the day, nobody comes back to watch them. You know, it's exactly the same with a footballer. We'll give you the stage, give you the crowd, the rest is up to you. You know, so I'd like to think, and this is why I've committed myself to IFG, because they give everything in one stop. You know, so if it's either a football only program, or it could be pro trials in Sweden, or it could be university 3-year degree in Preston or Manchester, or it can be a 3-year degree in Dubai. So there's absolutely, whilst playing professional football, sorry. So it's really exciting to come over there. And give everybody, you know, my time, and more importantly, it's exciting to see the players who are participating.
All right, we've been talking about the boys. What about the girls? Opportunities for the girls?
Yeah, so like I've already spoke to Ricky about, who's running the event. We have opportunities for girls. We've had girls from the Caribbean come into our girls only program, and we're going to be signed in Sweden professionally. So again, we've got success rates in the women. So if there is women who want to sign up to the showcase event, there was some who came last time. Please do sign up to them, because I have the Swedish agency who can cast an eye on you. We have opportunities within the IFG group. So it's really exciting for girls this year to come on board and come and showcase your talents.
All right, Martin, we're going to leave it there for now. We are certainly looking forward for your involvement in the 7th CAF ID Combine here in Antigua and Barbuda. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for your time, guys. Thank you.
All right, Martin Milo speaking with us there. He will be among the coaches and scouts coming to Antigua, of course, from the 6th of February to the 8th. We'll be back with more here on the GN Sports Show.
GN Sports Show.
And welcome back to the GN Sports Show. And in the house is the man himself once again, Dr. Rick. How are you, Dr. Rick?
Good, how are you?
Not
Thank
too bad,
you
not
for
too bad.
inviting me back.
Yeah, and this
Or
evening
did you invite me or somebody else invite me?
You got an invite. Dr.
You got an invite, Doc, and that's the most important thing. I'm not going to give nobody else any credit. Dr. Rick, you got an invite from somebody.
I got it.
And it's the segment this evening is vaccine in athletes with Dr. Rick.
Yeah, I thought that would be a very good discussion to have, because, you know, in the beginning of 2026, we are in the beginning of 2026, actually the beginning of this month. I think it was, you know, January 5th, January 6th.
Monday, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, reduced the number of vaccines advised for children from 17 to 11. The drop shots are now only recommended for children who are deemed high risk or have been advised by a doctor.
And what's this show about? Children in sports, youth sports. Definitely. Now, how many of our parents are watching what's going on in the United States, listening to what's going on in the United States, and are deciding that, okay, maybe my kids don't need to be vaccinated as much as they have been, because why would the United States do such a thing? And it's, you know, very controversial in the United States. So I thought that we ought to get the word out there to parents so they can make informed decisions. Yep. Right? Yep. Mm-hmm. And with regard to youth sports, we have to consider that kids in youth sports are not the same as kids who are sedentary. For example, kids in youth sports are under more stress. You know, we like to think of them as healthier in some respects, stronger in some respects. But if they're competing, if they're training several times a week, they're actually under more stress. And their immune systems, you remember about the immune system? Yes. The immune systems are stressed. And so they're a little bit more susceptible to infections. Okay. You see? So for example, I'll give you an example. I played college basketball, semi-pro basketball in the United States. Okay. This was in the it was before your grandfather was born, in the 60s.
No doubt. Don't go there.
Yeah. In the 60s and 1950s, right? And the flu vaccine was new, right? But because we were training every day, 2-3 hours a day, right? We were more susceptible to colds and infections, yet we had to play, we had to represent our school, and we had to travel even around the United States, the different geographical areas, putting us more at risk of getting infected from the flu. So what did they do? They mandated. They didn't even ask us. They didn't say, oh, do you want to have a flu vaccine? No, if you're on the team, you had to get vaccinated. Because they couldn't risk one person spreading it to everybody else, and now we can't play the game. And by the way, sports in the United States is a big, college sports is a moneymaker for the school.
Big deal.
So we were on scholarships, so we were basically working for our education.
Right.
And they protected us. For the past 62 years, I have been getting a flu shot every year. Now,
Every
for some,
year?
Yep. Now, it was required while I was playing college basketball.
Right.
But then I made sure, because I saw its effectiveness. When I was in high school, this was not mandated. I don't even know if flu vaccines were common when I was in high school. I can't remember, but I don't remember getting them. And I remember getting the flu very often when I was in high school. And I played high school basketball.
Okay.
You know? But my mother was probably not educated about it, or it wasn't available. It could be it wasn't available, and it wasn't common for high school athletes to get the flu vaccine in those days. I sometimes got very, very sick from the flu. Now, I recovered. Obviously, I'm here, right?
Right.
Okay. But I remember downtime in school. I actually vaguely remember, feeling foggy in class sometimes, even after the flu for maybe a week. And could I have died? Yeah, theoretically I could have gotten really sick and died, but I didn't. Probably because my nutrition was good. I came from a family that was food secure, you see? Gave me plenty of protein. I wasn't protein challenged. I didn't have, a problem with getting enough protein to stimulate my immune system. And all of that, so that after I saw what effect it had in college, when I was required to get the flu vaccine, I just said, I'm going to get a flu vaccine every year. Now, I was in the Army, U.S. Army. You believe me? Can you see me as a soldier?
Yeah.
No, I was one of the worst soldiers the U.S. Army ever had.
Why would you say that?
During the Vietnam War. Oh, I can tell you many stories about that. Anyway, I'm not good at taking orders. I'm good at giving orders.
You're not going to take orders.
But taking orders? No way.
And you went.
Were you a medic?
I was not a medic.
No. But before, you're not good at.
I actually played basketball that kept me out of Vietnam.
So why you went in the Army? Was it mandated?
No, yeah, mandated.
Or it was mandated.
Yeah,
okay.
in those days we had the draft. Okay. Yeah, very interesting. Someday we'll have nice stories about the U.S. Army. Anyway, so there we were required also to have flu vaccines. Then I got out of the Army and went to school, and I continued to have it. And to this day, I continue to have flu vaccines, but now it's kind of in the United States recommended. And now let's look at what happened on January 6th. They said, kids don't really need flu vaccines so much.
So it's no longer mandated to have those.
Yes, exactly. Going back to like it was when I was a kid.
Okay, so was it only for sports athlete when you was a kid? Or is just kids have to have it in general?
No. When I was a kid, like I said, when I was in high school, nobody had flu vaccines.
Well, once it got to
just
college.
the only reason went to college. No. So only the athletes got it.
Oh, okay.
Only the athletes are required to get it. I guess other people could have gotten it too, but the only requirement was the athlete. Okay. You see, to protect us, to make sure we can still play and bring money into the school. and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So now we are going back. It seems like we're going back in time, doesn't it? We're going backwards. I'm not going to talk the politics of it, but it is political to some extent, because in my scientific opinion, and I'm not the only one, this is not based on any scientific evidence, that it's okay to do this. And so, what are we seeing in the United States now? What do you think we're seeing in the flu rates? They're increasing. It's elevated. Probably higher than it is in the Caribbean, but Caribbean has some flu too. I don't know. Do you have some athletes that have gotten sick with the flu?
Of course, it's common. You know what I'm saying? I think we do get certain types of vaccination. Not too sure if we do get flu vaccination.
But there's a flu season though.
Yeah, right. It's seasonal. That's one of the factors.
It's flu season.
Yeah, it's flu season. They get it. But do you see kids that get really sick, have to go to the hospital? In the United States, there are thousands of kids who have to go to the hospital with the flu.
At an early age here in Antigua, I don't think you get a flu vaccine, or maybe you do, but it doesn't prevent the flu, but it kind of helps your body
deal with the flu, yeah. But I think
you can still get the flu, but it keeps you from getting really sick or dying.
I think we get a general immunization, I think something like that. That just kind of basically covers a lot of things.
After a couple, years, 6 months, whatever.
And I'm not sure what the laws are here now. We should look into it, but it could be that all school kids get the flu vaccine. Probably not. That would be pretty expensive.
I know going to primary school, I know at a certain time, all of you used to have to go and get this tetanus injection.
Yes, that's different.
And we used to get another injection too. I think
that's different. But flu you have to get every year because it mutates. The virus mutates.
Time elapsed. Then the last vaccination I get was COVID.
Now, a lot of people will say that because most people recover and don't have to get hospitalized, don't get very sick, there's no reason to vaccinate. But there are some people who get very, very sick, and it impairs their schoolwork and all kinds of things like that, as well as there's another issue. You're going to spread it to the unvaccinated. Right? If you get it, you're going to spread it to the unvaccinated. If you don't have, you heard of herd immunity? Herd immunity. When 95% of the population has the vaccination, you have herd immunity, and it doesn't spread. But this spreads, and people can get sick. And so, what I'm worried about is that people in the Caribbean, parents of kids who are in youth sports, who are more susceptible to getting infections like COVID and flu and measles. Measles can be very, very severe, right? Are going to listen to the mandates in the United States that have been reduced and say, if they don't have to do it in the United States, why should I have my kid vaccinated? And they're afraid of it because they're thinking there's a scientific reason for it. And there is none. I'm telling you, there is no scientific reason why not to get vaccinated. Why not to vaccinate children for all of the common childhood diseases like measles and respiratory syncytial virus called RSV and whooping cough and all of this, because these are all increasing in the United States, mainly in populations that have been unvaccinated, because they're listening to non-scientific evidence that says, your kids don't need to be vaccinated.
Okay, wait, 1 second. Just to your point. So I found this article from December 18, 2025, right?
Good.
The Celeste Medical Center is advising the public to take increased precautions as the hospital records an early and more severe than usual onset of the influenza season. Hospital laboratory data show an early and concerning rise in influenza cases since the start of December 2025. And the Celeste Medical Center has confirmed 15 cases of influenza, following 8 cases recorded in November. So 15 in December, 8 in November, with most cases involving patients who required hospital admission, so they had to stay at hospital.
Yep.
To date, one influenza-related death has sadly been recorded. Clinicians are also seeing a higher than usual number of patients requiring hospitalization and intensive care for severe influenza at this time of the year. I guess.
Right. And that's only a few people, right?
Yeah.
A few kids. Now, what if that's your kid?
But it is a,
What if that's your kid? You see, that's the problem. So I'm protected from a disease. Let's take measles. I'm protected from measles, probably because I had measles as a child. You probably are protected from measles, and you're protected because you got measles vaccines here.
Yep.
Right? Now, you have kids, and somebody said, oh, measles vaccines are dangerous or they're not necessary, and they give you some crazy scientific, rationale explanation for it, right? That you don't question, and you say, okay, it's a pain in the to give my kid this vaccination. He doesn't want it anyway, and so he's not likely to die from it or get very sick. And then that kid gets sick and has to go to the hospital, or even dies. Now, you are the parent who is protected, looking at your kid and making a decision that your kid should not be as protected as you. Isn't that messed up?
that is messed up.
And how are you going to feel about it? Horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, or if your kid gets sick or dies, of course you're horrible anyway. But this is even the worse, that it could have been prevented. That's my point, parents. It could have been prevented.
You're doing a great job with the topics. Absolutely fantastic job with the topics. So thanks for being here once again, Doc, and a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with the GN Sports.
GN Sports Show.
Well, we hope you learned something from this episode of the GN Sports Show. I am Terry Andrew.
Definitely another exciting show, Terry, and we're looking forward to see all the viewers. I'm George South Dublin. Do have a pleasant evening.
It's their time to shine on the GN Sports. So grab your gear, lace up those shoes. It's time to show the world what you can do. On the GN Sports Show, you'll find your light. With every step, you're reaching new heights. GN Sports, oh! GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow, making waves today. From ages 5 and up, we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. Yo, GN Sports Show, yo. Yo, GN Sports Show. Yo, GN Sports Show, yo. GN Sports Show. So grab your gear, lace up those shoes. It's time to show the world what you can do. On the GN Sports Show, you'll find your light with every step.